I still remember the exact moment they gave me the choice. It wasn't dramatic like in the movies. There was no background music, no slow motion, no warning. Just a cold voice, a hard stare, and a sentence that cut through my soul like a blade: deny Christ or die. In that moment, time didn't just slow down, it fractured. My heart pounded so loud I could hear it echo in my ears. My mouth went dry. My hands trembled, but not from fear alone. Something deeper was happening inside me, something I still struggle to explain even now. Because the truth is, I wasn't always a follower of Jesus. Not even close. If anything, I was raised to reject him, to question him, to defend against him. I grew up in a strict Muslim household where faith wasn't just belief, it was identity, honor, and survival. From a young age, I was taught discipline, obedience, and loyalty to Islam. I memorized verses, attended teachings, and learned how to argue against Christianity with confidence. I knew the talking points. I knew the defenses. And I believed with all my heart that I was on the right path. Back then, if someone had told me that one day I would stand in front of men who wanted me dead because I refused to deny Jesus, I would have laughed. It would have sounded impossible. But life has a way of leading you into moments you never imagined, moments that reveal what you truly believe. It started slowly, not with rebellion, not with doubt, but with a question. Just one question that refused to leave my mind. I remember sitting alone one evening after a long day, scrolling through my phone, when I stumbled on a video. It was a testimony. A man, like me, once Muslim, now Christian. Normally, I would have ignored it or even mocked it. But something made me stop. Something held my attention. He spoke calmly, not angrily, not arrogantly. And what struck me most wasn't his arguments, it was his peace. He talked about Jesus not as a prophet, but as someone alive. Personal. Present. That disturbed me. Because in all my years of devotion, I had never felt that kind of closeness. I had followed rules. I had practiced discipline. But I had never experienced intimacy with God. I tried to shake it off. I told myself it was emotional manipulation. I told myself he was deceived. But that night, when I tried to sleep, his words echoed in my mind. And then the dreams began. At first, they were vague. Just flashes. A figure in white. A voice I couldn't quite understand. But each night, they became clearer. More intense. More real. Until one night, everything changed. I found myself standing in what looked like a vast, empty place. There was no sky, no ground, just light. Pure, overwhelming light. And in the distance, someone was walking toward me. I wanted to run. Every instinct in me screamed to turn away. But I couldn't move. My feet felt rooted. As the figure got closer, I felt something I had never felt before. Not fear, not exactly. It was conviction. Like every hidden thought, every secret part of me was being exposed. And then he spoke. Not loudly, not forcefully, but with authority that shook me to my core. I am the way. That was it. Just 4 words. But they carried a weight I cannot describe. I woke up gasping for air, my body covered in sweat. My heart raced like I had just escaped something, or maybe encountered something too powerful to comprehend. 4 days, I couldn't function properly. I tried to ignore it. I tried to bury it. But the more I resisted, the stronger the pull became. Questions flooded my mind. Who was Jesus really? Why did I see him? I began to secretly search. Quietly. Carefully. I couldn't let anyone know, not my family, not my friends. Even curiosity could be dangerous. I read the Bible for the first time in my life, not to argue against it, but to understand it. And what I found shattered me. This wasn't just a book of teachings. It was alive. Every word felt like it was speaking directly to me, exposing me, calling me. I saw a different picture of God, not distant, not unreachable, but personal, loving, sacrificial. And the more I read about Jesus, the more I realized this was not just a prophet. This was someone who claimed authority over life, over death, over eternity itself. I was torn. Everything I had been taught clashed with everything I was now discovering. My identity, my family, my entire world was on one side, and truth, whatever that truth was, stood on the other. I tried to resist. I really did. But then came the second dream. This time, it wasn't peaceful. I saw chaos. Darkness covering the earth. People running, crying, searching for something, someone. And in the middle of it all, I heard that same voice again. Follow me. I woke up again, but this time, I knew. This wasn't random. This was a call. For weeks, I battled internally. I fasted. I prayed the only way I knew how. I begged God to guide me, to show me the truth, no matter the cost. And slowly, the answer became undeniable. Jesus was not just a messenger. He was the truth I had been searching for my entire life. The day I accepted him, I didn't feel fireworks. I didn't hear angels. But I felt something even deeper, a peace I had never known. A certainty that didn't depend on emotion or logic. But peace came with a price. Because truth demands a decision. At first, I kept it hidden. I continued my daily life, pretending nothing had changed. But inside, everything had changed. I could no longer speak against Jesus. I could no longer deny what I now believed. And eventually it showed. My behavior changed. My words changed. My priorities shifted. And people noticed. Questions turned into suspicion. Suspicion turned into confrontation. Why are you different? What are you hiding? Who have you been talking to? I tried to deflect. I tried to avoid conflict. But you can only hide truth for so long before it demands to be seen. And then, everything collapsed. One evening, I was called into a room. The atmosphere was heavy. Serious. They had found out. I won't go into every detail, but the anger, the disappointment, the betrayal, it was overwhelming. To them, I wasn't just wrong. I was a disgrace. They tried to reason with me. Then they tried to pressure me. Then they tried to threaten me. Just say you don't believe it. Say it was a mistake. Say you were confused. It would have been so easy. Just words. Just a sentence. And everything would go back to normal. But I couldn't. Because I knew the truth. And denying him would mean denying everything I had encountered, everything I had experienced. Things escalated quickly after that. I was isolated, but controlled, and eventually handed over to people who were far less patient. That's when I found myself in that moment. Standing there, surrounded, deny Christ or die. There was no more hiding, no more pretending, just a choice. Life or truth. My mind raced. Images of my family flashed before me. Memories. Regrets. Fear. I was terrified. I won't lie to you. I was shaking. But then, something happened. In the middle of that fear, I felt peace. The same peace I felt the day I accepted him. And in my heart, I heard it again. I am with you. Not a voice from outside, but from within. And suddenly, the fear lost its power. I looked at them, and I realized something. They could take my life. But they could not take my truth. So I spoke. Quietly. Firmly. I cannot deny him. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I had ever experienced. What happened next? I honestly believed it was the end. But somehow, in a way I still struggle to explain. I am here today telling you this story. Not because I was strong. Not because I was brave. But because something greater than me was at work. And ever since that day, I have never looked back. Because when you encounter truth at that level, when you face death and still choose it, there is no going back. If you're watching this right now, I don't believe it's by accident. Maybe you're searching. Maybe you're questioning. Maybe you're afraid. But let me tell you something, truth is worth everything. Even when it costs you everything. And if this story moved you, if it made you think, if it stirred something inside you, don't ignore it. Take a moment right now. Reflect. Ask questions. Seek truth for yourself. And if you want to hear more real stories like this, stories that challenge, inspire, and reveal what's really happening in our world, make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and stay connected. Because what you're hearing today is only the beginning. And I know how that sounds. I know it can feel uncomfortable, even unsettling, because deep down, when truth begins to surface, it disrupts everything we've built our lives on. It challenges our assumptions, confronts our fears, and forces us to ask the kind of questions we've been avoiding for far too long. I was there. I remember trying to silence that inner voice, trying to convince myself that what I experienced wasn't real, that it was just emotion, just a moment, just something that would fade with time. But it didn't fade. It grew stronger, louder, clearer. It followed me into my quiet moments, into my thoughts, into the places where no one else could see. And the more I tried to ignore it, the more undeniable it became. There was a point where I had to make a decision. Not a comfortable one, not a safe one, but a real one. I had to choose between what I had always known and what I now knew to be true. And that choice came with a cost. It wasn't just internal. It wasn't just emotional. It affected relationships, identity, security, everything. There were moments of fear so intense I questioned if I could go on. Moments where walking away would have been easier, where pretending nothing happened would have saved me from pain. But something deeper held me steady. Something I couldn't explain, but I couldn't deny. Because when you've seen what I've seen, when you've felt that kind of clarity cut through every doubt, you realize that going back isn't just difficult, it's impossible. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. And even when the road ahead looks uncertain, even when the cost feels overwhelming, there's a peace that comes with knowing you're standing in truth. A peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, approval, or comfort. It's deeper than that. It anchors you. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you're standing at that same crossroads, feeling that same tension, that same pull between what's familiar and what's real. It's not easy. No one said it would be. But I can tell you this from experience, there is something on the other side of that decision that is worth it. Even if you don't fully understand it yet. Even if you're afraid of what it might mean for your life. Don't rush past this moment. Don't scroll away and bury what you're feeling right now. Because moments like this don't come often. When something inside you is stirred, when questions begin to rise, it's not something to ignore, it's something to lean into. Take the time. Sit with it. Ask yourself the hard questions. Be honest in a way you've never been before. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about me. It's not about a story. It's about you. Your journey. Your search. Your willingness to confront truth, no matter where it leads. And I promise you, if you truly seek it, if you pursue it with everything in you, you will find it. But just know, when you do, everything changes.